Good evening, everyone, and from wherever you may be tuning in from around the world, we want to invite you in and welcome you to Corning Sports Report's live coverage of the 2021 Corning Bobcat Football Coaches Show. We're live on location here in beautiful crime-free Corning, Arkansas, as we like to call it, God's country, inside of Harold's Barbecue here. The only barbecue place by a stoplight, I believe. Is that right, Mr. Pitmaster? That's Mr. Lyndon Massey back there. Can we get him on camera for just a second? Yeah, get on up here. Come on. Come on, look at this. We always want to give thanks, and I promise there's a lot of thanks to give this guy. Thank you for allowing us to come in here. He's always been good to us, always been good to the community. So big thanks. And he's the sharpest dressed man in here. Now, look at this.
Well, it's because of the hat. What can I say? It's the hat. The hat, man?
It's the hat. That's what it is.
What better can you get?
My wife told me when she first met me, I said, what was the first thing you remember about me? And she said it was my shoes. That wasn't not my personality or my, good looks or nothing. Charm, nothing, shoes. So that's the first thing I noticed, too, is your hat.
Yeah, it kind of sticks out. So,
A little bit, just a little bit. So, hey, Lyndon Massey, y'all tell him thank you for this. We really do appreciate him.
Thank you for coming by. I do appreciate it. I really do. I enjoy helping out the community, and it's all about the kids.
I love it. Amen. I could not agree more. I concur. We don't agree very often, but I totally agree with you on that one.
Hey, well, if you remember the last time we did a video, I kept calling you Andy Dufresne, and you had Corning Sports Authority, and
you kept winking. I feel like you meant to do that.
Well, it was all in good fun, but this is too. I mean, it's a good thing all around for everybody.
Thank you, Lyndon. Thank you, Lyndon. There's only a couple people here who's got a little bit bigger belly than I do, so when he's up here, it makes it look a little bit better. So thank you, Lyndon. Thank you for that, too. I appreciate that. I want to say thank you to you can't see me. He's pulling his pants up right now, jumping around. You can't see him, but Huff Daddy, as we call him. I actually got a lot of nicknames for him. Mr. Mark Hufford is behind the camera. Can you shake it a little bit? Let him know you're here. There we go. There it is right there. And the brains of the whole operation, Mr. Timothy Hufford, I'm a little nervous. He's so smart. He's like a sponge. He catches everything so quick. He'll probably own this company. I'll be looking for another job here in about 5 years if I had to guess. So we appreciate him. Also, before we get into this, I know these coaches have a little bit of a drive home, and they don't want to be sitting here listening to me yap all night. You probably don't either. You're here for them, not me. But I got to say thank you to all of our loyal fans. We really do appreciate you. This is year 3 for CSR. You guys have been unbelievable. The first 2 years, y'all showed up, supported us. And it means so much, man. To be number 1 in the state in something when you're a 3A school is crazy, and you guys had us way up there in viewership, and we sure appreciate that. These kids see that. I know they do. I promise you they go back and rewatch this stuff. And, man, if I could have seen that back in the day and see how many people was watching, that's a big, big deal. So thank you, guys. Everyone's been so good to us. Thank you to our sponsors. We got 38 sponsors this year. That's unreal for a town of this size. So big, 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 big time stuff, and we sure do appreciate you guys. Mr. Calvin Burkhart is here live with us right now. Can we get him on camera too? Calvin didn't think he's going to get any camera time, but he's wrong. How's Mr. Calvin? Fine. He's a man of many words, folks. Man of many words. He gives the halftime speeches, I think, right? The pregame speeches for, I thought so. Yeah, I thought so. We appreciate him. Over 30 years of service, is that right now? 30 plus, I think. That's big time stuff. That's another thing we want to say thank you. All the volunteers who make our Friday nights possible. I don't care if it's the chain gang, the people taking money at the gate, concession stand, wherever it may be. Thank you guys so much. We can't have those Friday nights without you. So I know y'all are out there watching. Thank you guys. Are we ready to talk to the coaches? I know I am. I say we get to it. We're going to start off with Mr. I had to call him Mr. He told me that too. No, I'm kidding. Mr. Tyler Golden. Coach Golden, I'm going to give you an opportunity to kind of give an intro here. The people who may not know you, to let them know who you are, where you're from, coaching career, things of that, any kind of hobbies you may have of that nature. So.
Yeah, so am I good? Hear me good? Yeah. All right, so yeah, Tyler Golden. This will be my 4th year at Corning, my 4th year in education and teaching and coaching as well. So I'm originally from southeast Missouri, a town called Malden, and yeah, I got a degree in business and realized that wasn't really what I wanted to do, so I ended up in education, and here I am now. I get to coach football for a living, so that's a pretty good gig, I guess. But yeah, so a 4th year in Corning here, and just really, really excited about this year, really excited about Coach Shelton and the leadership and the experience that he's brought to the program. So I think we got a really good season in store for us. So a lot of excitement from us.
Love to hear that. Coach, obviously, anytime you get a new head coach into the system, and you've been through a few, anytime you get a new head coach, sometimes maybe some schemes, some fronts will change. Will our defense this year look any different as far as a front there? Is it going to be a 4-3? Are we looking at a 3-man front? What is the game plan going into this season?
Yeah, so we've been a 4-front for the last few years, and we're going to stick with that. We did play and kind of experiment with a 3-front this summer a little bit, in some pad camps and whatnot. But we decided with the with the kids we had, the personnel we have, we'd be better to stick with a 4-front. We think that fits us a little better. So that's the plan right now. Stick and still be a 4-front.
Okay. Also, obviously, we've had a little bit of off-season here, a little bit of summer, some scrimmages, some 7-on-7s. is there anybody that early on has really just jumped out to you on film or out there on the field that might surprise some people? Maybe an upcoming sophomore, maybe someone that get a lot of playing time last year that we could be looking for this year?
Red Eddington is probably the guy that I've really been impressed by. He played defensive end for us last year. Now he stepped back and he's a middle linebacker, but he's really just stepped up as a great leader for our defense, and he's done a great job of just kind of filling that leadership role. So I expect a big year out of him. He's played really well so far in practices and scrimmages and done a great job. On the line, Landon Berry's coming back as a senior and it just plays with a great tenacity, and he'll be a great leader for us down there. And Parker Davis is going to move back as safety and lead our secondary, and he's really kind of emerged as well. And we expect big years out of all those guys, and I really think those will be our leaders of our defense.
And as you know, obviously, coaching this conference now for a few years, it seems like we face a multitude of different variety of offensive schemes and sets of that nature. In our secondary, in the back end, are we going to see is it going to be just full man-to-man, or are we going to see a little bit of zone defense? Can you give us an idea of what we're going to see there this year?
Yeah, we will show a little bit of man in certain situations, but we've got a cover 3. We're going to be in a cover 3 and a cover 4 at times, when depending on the situation and the formation and the teams we're playing. So, yeah, we'll have a cover 3. We'll run a cover 4, and then we will at times spot man, in certain formations as well. So, primarily look like a cover 3, cover 4 look.
Okay. Not to put you on the spot or upsetting the players that may be watching tonight, but is there a position group that has just really stuck out this offseason as far as defensive line or the linebackers or the secondary? Is there a position group that's really just been very, very impressive so far?
Yeah, I think since we went back to the forefront, it's been our D-line. They've got a really good opportunity. We've got some good kids up front. I think they've got a really good opportunity to have a major impact on a lot of games this year. We've got some athletic kids, some kids that are strong and have a good mix of speed as well. So, I think, off the bat and just experience, I think that's probably where we're more experienced is on our D-line, probably, who I've got circled.
Okay. All right, those are some pretty, adult slow-pitch softball questions. We just kind of toss it up and you knock them out of the park. We got the really hard-hitting questions here.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, these are going to be some John Rocker fastballs coming right in your wheelhouse. All right, now this question wasn't from me, and it was asked the last time, and I don't know why it's so important, but this is a fan feedback question, but it's extremely important, evidently. Okay. Are we going to have the painted Bobcat at midfield again?
So the painted Bobcat will make an appearance. I'm not going to say it'll be the first home game. We like to kind of sneak it in there and surprise everybody. I don't know, maybe homecoming, maybe week 4 or 5. It'll have to be a surprise. We'll just have to let y'all wait and see. But the painted Bobcat will make an appearance before the year's over.
We're taking bets on that. Homecoming is a 7-point favorite right now. Just book it. All right. Now, here's one more tough question for you. Now, your father, who's obviously an assistant coach here with us, he could not be here tonight. Neither could assistant coach Trevor Poe. I was going to get to that here in a minute. But your father, Ron, now, I got to know, and I hope Ron's watching. I really do. I hope Mr. Golden's watching. Who was the better athlete in their prime, you or your dad?
Well, so now you got to remember, Andy, when my dad went to school, there wasn't such thing as a camera. It's been a long time. So we have no film or no proof of how he was as an athlete. Obviously, I have the size advantage as well, 6'2" versus, I don't know, what's he, 5'4"? So, I have to give myself the advantage there. But I've been told by a lot of people that he was a heck of a slow-pitch softball player as well. So, but, another quick story for you. So I'm probably in 8th or 9th grade. We're out there. He's throwing batting practice to me at the baseball field, and I can't remember what I did, but I did something to make him mad. He was not happy with the way I was swinging the bat. He made me get out there and pitch it, and he got up there and swung the bat. And I kid you not, the first 2 pitches I threw, he cranked them, gone. So, I think back in his day he could probably play a little bit, but size advantage, I think I got him.
At least you didn't say like leather helmet or something when he played. At least you didn't do that to him. So.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be false.
Ladies and gentlemen at home, that is Mr. Tyler Golden, the assistant coach, defensive coordinator. Thank you, Tyler. And while we've got an opportunity, I want to mention that, Tyler, assistant coach here, Here's the truth. Tyler didn't grow up at Corning. Neither did Coach Poe. They weren't born Bobcats. They didn't play here. They didn't coach here in the past. And all y'all know, or at least a lot of the adults know, in high school football, actually every level, assistants come and go. That's part of it. That's just part of it, and that's how it works. And these two assistants, Coach Poe and Coach Golden, I've got so much respect for these guys. Number one, they've been through – how many coaches now? Is this the third coach for you? Coach Poe, if you're at home, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 or whatever it is. These assistants are – you live in Jonesboro, is that correct, Coach Golden? So he lives in Jonesboro. Coach Poe is on the other side of Pocahontas. They got these long drives. They're not Corning guys. They are now, but they could have easily, during those hard years, they've been through the bad, guys. They stuck it out through the bad times, and they're still here. And, man, I have a whole lot of respect for that. I really, really do. That means a lot to me. And I hope you folks at home realize that. I know we always talk about the head coach, and we focus on the kids, and that's fine. That's great. But these assistants have been through a lot, coaching changes, that the darkest days in our football history of the streak that we all talked about, and they stuck with it. They could have easily found a job closer to home, honestly, and there'll probably be a day down the road, and we'll be happy for them, absolutely happy for them, because I have a lot of respect for that. I really, really do. So I want to say thank you. I don't think I've ever told you that, guys, you and Coach Poe that. So, Coach Poe, I know you're watching at home. He's probably eating Cheetos right now. Clean off that. There you go. Yeah. Did you have something to say, Calvin? You're more than welcome to come and talk if you did. Calvin was back there raising his hand. He wanted to say something. But seriously, that's huge. Just, okay, scratching your head. Okay. Our next coach is the new head coach here at Corning, Arkansas. Now, listen, I could give you all these stats. You know, he's been extremely successful, done a fantastic job at a school where he had to compete with, the highest of classifications, if I'm not mistaken, in Missouri. Is that correct, Coach Shutt? Against a lot of private schools, and this man, it didn't matter. He still got it done. And I could go all night with that. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to introduce the new head coach, Mr. Farrell Shelton. And Coach Shelton, if you'll give everybody an idea that don't know you, who you are, where you came from, just a little bit of tidbits about yourself, if you don't mind, sir.
Okay. I am from originally from Fenton, Missouri. I have coaching-wise, I have played or I have coached at Eureka High School. My wife and I, Monica, remind me that we've been married now 29 years. She's from Corning. And we have 2 children. Our son Daniel lives close to Corning, and our daughter she lives out in Little Rock. Coaching career, like I said, I started in 1990 in Eureka High School. If you don't know where Eureka's at, if you've ever been to Six Flags, you've been to Eureka. Eureka was about Six Flags was about 2 minutes from our house. We live right next to the high school. Also, I coached there for 25 years. Was a head coach for 15 years, and then in 2014, when our son graduated from high school, I thought I was maybe finished with coaching at that time in Kirkwood High School, which is about 20 minutes closer to St. Louis. Job opened up, and I was blessed to be able to land there my last 6 years. My wife and I retired from the Missouri Public School education system this year. We wanted to always come back and be closer to our family, to my mom and my in-laws that live here, and so it has brought us back here with the blessings of so many great years and great experiences that we had at Eureka and Kirkwood.
Very good, Coach. I've got to ask you. This is something I've got to know. What originally pulled you towards coaching? Have you always wanted to be a coach?
Yeah, I think there's influences. You know, for me to start in high school was my high school coach named Tom Russo, and just the way that I think in high school in the 80s it was the respect that you remember. You know, and coaching has changed so much. His I think the way he interacted with us is completely different now than the way I interact with kids. You know, there was a clear division between coach and player. At that time, different now in the sense of what you say and how you interact. And then I went on to college and played, and Coach Gibler again was a man that had a lot of influence on me, and so just the idea of being able to help others. Always been a gym rat. And probably one of the biggest influences on me, I think, as I got through the years was my family. Just coming from a football family, with my wife here, so many nights I quit. I was finished, but my family was what kept me going, and inspired me to, I think to keep going. We had chances, early when we were first married, met, that we could have probably went on to coach college, but it just wasn't our calling. I didn't think we wanted to move our family around that much. So it's been I think a family affair. And I think it was just something that I took to, probably because of Coach Russo and Coach Gibler, and then things just flourished from there.
You spoke about influential people. Along the way, you've had a pretty long coaching career. Who has been the most influential person on your coaching career?
I think on my, as far as the X's and O's, it was my first head coach that I coached under, Art Mueller. Had tremendous impact when Coach Mueller left Eureka in 1999 and I took over in 2000. Here's how things come full circle. Last year at Kirkwood, I hired his son, and he coached for me, and then I got Coach Mueller to come back out and coach me. Art Coach Mueller, it was just a huge influence on me. I tell Tyler stories about him and the demands, and really what he taught me was how to pay attention to details and make sure that no detail is overlooked. I've had some good friends along the way. I think Brad Draley, who's the head coach of Lincoln, very successful in Missouri, Blair Oaks. He and I were college teammates and roommates. So, and we've still been in contact now, 30 years later. And I think there's just been a network of guys that I have been blessed to meet over the years, through coaches associations and being in different leadership responsibilities with them, that you kind of pick their brain and you get a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and that's how you create your programs.
Now, Coach, listen, you're not from here, so no one's going to know any better. Were you a pretty good athlete back in the day?
Oh, I think I was okay. I played in high school, and then was fortunate enough to play in college. I still tell the kids, if I go out there and play D-back against them, and I'll tell them that if I'm out there, you're not going to catch a pass. I think there's more of a pride thing with them. Grady Pennington, I think Tim the other day, I don't know if you heard, but Grady Pennington and I got in a drill together, and Grady Pennington, when he got finished, he comes up, he goes, "Coach," he goes, "I didn't think you were that strong." And I said, "Well, Grady, what did you think you were getting a hold of here?" And so I think they thought I was a marshmallow at that time. So I think I was decent. I think the biggest thing was I was a guy that worked hard. Didn't have the greatest skill, but worked hard to start, and both in high school and in college.
Now I may be setting you up for failure on this one because you're a Missouri guy. You obviously grew up in Missouri, but here in Northeast Arkansas, we're big, huge Razorback fans. Are you a little bit of a Razorback fan?
Absolutely.
That's a good job, Coach.
Well,
that's a great job.
Understanding my family, though, my wife and my kids all graduated from Arkansas State, so that's a contentious point in our family. But I have ever since my grandma, we used to come down on weekends and visit my grandma and stuff, and I was always an Arkansas Razorback fan and followed them back to Lou Holtz, and we would always watch them on TV.
Now, obviously, it's still early on here, but getting into a little bit here of the off season, what do you feel like is your biggest challenge here at Corning as opposed to where you were before in Kirkwood?
Well, I think to preface this, I'm blessed with Tyler, with Coach Golden and Coach Poe to have them around. I don't like the necessarily label of a head coach. I'm one of those that everything is ours, it's us. You'll never hear my assistant coaches or my this. If I want to preach that it's a team, then that's the way I'm going to speak. But the reason I say that is we've had a pretty successful plan at Kirkwood and Eureka over our 22 years, and I have been, like I said, I keep using blessed, but I cannot tell you the assistant coaches that I've worked with that have went out there and we've helped formulate this plan. And it's been pretty successful, that it was brought to my point that Kirkwood and Eureka were the winningest programs in St. Louis in the last 22 years, combined. And it simply was because of the kids and all the time that we put in because we had a plan. As I come to Corning, we have a plan. Coach Golden, Coach Poe, and myself, we have a plan. It's not going to be something that can be seen tomorrow. It is something that first starts with the building of the program, that we are all Corning Bobcats, no matter the level. I believe in that. I want the best year of football for these young men to be in their senior year. Everything we do is for the seniors. So I think one point is that there is a plan. It is in place, and we're going to be moving through it. Some things will become will go swifter. Some things will be a little slower, but we do have a plan. And I think trust is a big thing. Is to trust us on this. I talk to the kids. We never talk about winning and losing. We talk about the process, and that's the first step of our plan. And the process begins with our kids in the classroom. It begins with the idea of hard work, which I have just, like I said, I've been astonished and amazed by the hard work that these young men put in on and off the field and in the classrooms. But just that there is a plan in place, and our plan is very detailed. Our plan goes to player development. Our plan goes to how we want the program to look, all the way down to our uniforms, to our socks, to what our lockers are going to look like on weekends. So we're trying to, we're slowly getting the plan in process, and it'll take us some time.
Okay, so you've been down here for just a little bit now. As far as the community goes, the players, the alumni, the fans, the parents, maybe even the school staff, school starting now, how's everybody treated Coach Shelton so far?
Well, it's been amazing, and Monica and I got a lot of texts from people saying, "Liz, how are things going?" And I said, the number one statement question that I always get is, "What can I do for you? Is there anything else you need? What can I do?" And so, like you said earlier, that comes back to really what we're saying is there anything I can do for the kids? What can we do better? And when you have that, then I think for me personally, then I just put my head down and I work. Is when you have support like that from our community, from our parents, from the kids, from assistant coaches, from our administration, and people are going to, I think they're going to really cherish, the hard work that we're putting in. And again, we're not talking about the wins and losses, but just paying attention to the details. To answer the question, it's been tremendous. I've hopefully showed them that I'll lead from the front, and the idea that I'll be the first win and last one out. Hopefully I can stay up with the young ones and outwork them. But I have had tremendous support, and and so many people have just said, if there's anything you need, Coach, just come to us.
I love to hear that. It's a passionate town, very passionate about their Corning Bobcats, that's for sure. This is just for me personally. I'm curious. You've had some practices, obviously, and you haven't had a game yet. But what's the difference from, say, Missouri, say the governing body, Misha, over there versus AAA with practices? Is there a big difference in that? Do you have to kind of adjust for that?
Yeah, I mean, every state's going to have different rules. Missouri was they had just numbers of days in which you could have contact in the summer. For example, the scrimmage. I didn't understand the scrimmage. In Missouri, you have a jamboree, which there has to be 3 teams. There's only a certain number of plays you can run. And then I get down here, and they're saying, "Well, you can go, you can play the whole game if you want." And I was, it took me a while, and I have relied on other coaches in the conference. One thing we had in St. Louis is we had a JV. We had varsity JV here. It's junior high. So that's been a big difference for me. Trying to make sure that we can get kids out on the field and playing at all times.
Speaking of Missouri, obviously you have a lot of connections there. Could we possibly see some Missouri teams non-conference down the road?
Sure. Yeah, we called. I think we've called a couple so far for next year's schedule. We were trying to get some schools over here in Southeast Missouri, and so we've called some. We scrimmaged with some this year. I know a lot of guys up there, and so we're trying to work on. I think we've got 2 of our 3 scheduled for next year, so we're still looking. Hopefully, one of them will take us up.
Have you guys set let's say a goal as a team yet, whether it's statistics driven, record driven, or just in general? Have you guys set a goal for the team this year?
Well, not in statistics, and again, I don't want the coaches talk part of it, but our goal right now, is I think our last few days is that we're going to play. We want to play 4 to 6 seconds. An average football play is going to last 4 to 6 seconds, and we want to go from point A to point B. You know, and the one thing I try to preach then also is to play like two. You know, is that make the opponent, if you play defense, make two guys block you. If you play offense, make two guys defend you. You know, so if we can all play like that, you know, and play with that passion and energy and you know, every play, then we start following the process, you know, and I think, you know, the other belief is, you know, our goal is, you know, if things don't work out on a scoreboard, let's make sure it's because they're better than us. You know, you look at these stats, and if you go through a game, there's a 12% number, and it's called toxic plays. You know, and on offense, if you have over 12% toxic plays, which are negative plays, you've got a 95% chance of losing. And so what we talk about is, well, what are those toxic plays? Well, they're jumping off sides, they're fumbling. You know, there's something that we had control of. And so right now, that's what we're really focused on is let's make sure that no matter what happens next Friday night, if Cave City would beat us on a scoreboard, Cave City's better than us, and it's not Corning beating Corning.
I like that. That was very, very good. I like that, actually. If there's any parents out there, or maybe guardians, maybe grandparents of a kid, and they're maybe on the fence about their kid coming out and playing football, what would your message be to them?
Well, I know football's taken a beating in the United States over the last 4 or 5 years. Football's safer now than it ever has been. You know, the coaching, the USA heads-up coaching has done a tremendous job. I'm certified in it, and all of our, for example, here at Corning, you know, all of our tackling drills, all of our hitting drills, you know, that's the curriculum that we follow, and so, you know, to the point that we're certified in how to fit helmets and shoulder pads. So it's not anymore just going there and, you know, and you just grab a helmet. We make sure it's fitted properly. You know, the other day, Coach Gold and I spent, you know, 30, 45 minutes with our 7th graders making sure their chin straps were on properly to make sure everything is taken care of. You know, there's nothing that's too minor in the details, especially, you know, in this day and time with football, to try to, you know, again, we're never going to eliminate injuries, you know, but try to reduce them. But for us, we're teaching techniques. One thing we don't do is my belief. There's only so many hits in a body, and so we don't tackle live in practice. You know, we're going to wait on Friday night. We still have good contact. Do we go to the ground? Yes. One thing for us, studies show that 80% of football injuries occur body to ground contact. And so what we try to do is we stay body as much as we can, stay body to body in practice, and then use our hits up whenever we get to the game.
Now, Coach Poe obviously couldn't be here tonight, and Coach Poe being the offensive coordinator, anytime you have a new coach, sometimes there's some change in things. Will we see where our Bobcat offense look a little different than it did last year, say scheme-wise and formation-wise?
I think scheme-wise, we'll be heavy on the run, exactly the way Coach Treadway was. The one thing that we have always, part of our offensive plan has always been we're out of multiple formations. We'll run the same play, but we'll run it out of 6 or 7 formations. I was always a defensive guy, and the offenses I hated to defend was a team that ran 3 or 4 plays but could run it out of different looks because you knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to create leverage, and that's what I'm preaching to our offenses. We're going to run the same plays. We're going to dress it up. We're going to give it eye candy, but it'll be the same 4 or 5 plays. And for our linemen, like, you know, and Tim over there, is that he doesn't need a formation. All Tim has to know is the blocking rule. And so we're looking for ways that defenses will adjust to us. And then, you know, but I think the scheme of us being a heavy run team is still going to be there, you know, simply because of our talent and our offensive line.
Very good. I'm going to give Coach just a quick break here. We're about a little bit halfway through the questions here. Get a little social media engagement. We've got Debbie Hill watching. She's right behind us, actually, there. Thank you, Debbie. Lisa Cates Kirby says, thank you guys for all you do. Alex Shelton, Coach Golden, and Coach Poe have definitely earned their stripes as Corning Bobcats. I love seeing that. Big tight end Eli Mason's on with us. Several people right now on with us. Lynn Veneta. Several here going through the comments. Just seeing if there's any questions that might have come through there. Sue Leach says good luck this year. Clinton Davis on with us. Jennifer Poe. As we keep going here, this may sound a little silly, but are parents, alumni encouraged to come watch practices?
Sure. On our first parents meeting, our parents meeting they had back in the spring, I said, we're transparent. Please come out and watch. You're going to come out and see. And, we practice, I was talking to Coach Golden tonight. He and I had sometimes we practice probably a little bit different than others. There's not much dead time. If you ask Tim over there, it's a go, go, go. I don't like long practices. I like to keep an hour and 45 to 2 hours, but there's conditioning because of how much football we're doing. We don't have the true running sprints at the end of practice, because we're running sprints on every play, on every special team, every offensive play, and every defensive play. So right now we're trying to build a football cardiovascular. I know next Friday night, they're going to be so hyped up and nervous and things like that they could blow it out here in the first quarter. But we're trying to get that cardiovascular that in what we call intervals, go 4 to 6 seconds, and then we'll take our 25-second breaks, and that's how we practice.
I like that. Now, you're not a guy that wants to come here and talk about your past successes, but I'm going to do it anyways. You won a state championship, and I heard you had another opportunity. Is that correct here recently? But then I think COVID might have kind of derailed that opportunity.
Yeah, last year I had an incredible group of seniors, and again, when you have the players like I have, it makes your record look very, very good. We only got to play 3 games last year. We were going into the playoffs, and we were very good. We had just beaten 2 very good teams. Ladue, who had been a state championship team, and we had ended their 24-game win streak. Eureka, the school that I'd come from, and I'll tell you a story on that is Eureka and Kirkwood had played football for 75 years. And when I was at Eureka, we never played Kirkwood. Kirkwood they had never played until the year I'd leave Eureka and go to Kirkwood. We had to go over there for a quarterfinal game, and it got us. And now, you have to understand, my son was a senior the year before, so many of those players were in my house the year before, eating dinner with my son and things like that. And it got pretty personal on that night, and I thought I was going to have a breakdown. But anyway, we were able to come. We were able to beat Eureka last year in the last game of the year. For us. Like I said earlier, I think we were a semifinal team. Many of those kids are I think there's 6 of them that went on to play college football last year, and they're all texting me right now that they're all doing very well. And then COVID got us about 3 hours before our first playoff game last year.
Man, that's a tough break. That really, really is. Last year for us here at Corning was an extremely successful year. I think it was our first playoff game in nearly 10 years, first playoff win in maybe 2.5 decades, and of course, where we were before, extremely successful. But I think Coach Golden might even agree with this. One of the parts that wasn't as successful was special teams. Is that going to be kind of an emphasis this year for the Bobcats?
Yes. First of all, I just want to say what Coach Treadway, Coach Golden, and Coach Poe did last year. I don't think people truly understand. I think the work that they put in and what they built in the program. Just the leadership that I think they showed, especially through a trying year like last year, keeping all 3 programs together. I commend them. It was just I was up in a program where I have 13 other assistants, and things are easy, and talking about assistants and Coach Poe has been with us here the last few weeks, and Coach Golden and I have been together, and I'm worn out. He and I tonight, I was like, I am flat worn out. And I said, we have 14 assistants, one guy's gone. You're like, good, I'm glad he's gone. But when one guy leaves here, it put the burden on us. But every day we do special teams. We have a very, I think, kicking game is very, very important to us. Last week at Brooklyn, we didn't do that well, but we kicked off deep, and that was the big cheer out of the crowd. So I turned around and looked, and I said, "What are they cheering for?" And it was someone goes, "Well, they kicked deep." So, you asked Tim over there. We started our last 2 morning practices with our special teams. Kicking game is very important in high school. There's so many points out there. I think for us, we will use our kicking game to create field position, and then our defense to maintain field position, and with our run game, then we can have a pretty good impact. So it's interwoven. I think it's a quarter of the game. You can win 25% of the game off the kicking game, and so we emphasize it. Jesus will be our kicker. Colvin Pettis right now is our punter. So I'm very pleased in that. You'll see us we think right now we get down within the 20, 15 or 20 that we're within field goal range. So we're going. We'll give a shot with Jesus, and Jesus, he takes the job very personally. He's very prideful in what he does. Coleman is getting better each day, and his punting also. So for me, defensively, being a defensive guy, being able to flip the field, as we call it, is something that we preach to him in the kicking game every practice.
Well, Coach, I can guarantee you, if we're kicking a field goal from 35, 30, and we make it, that crowd's going to get loud. I promise. We haven't had that in a very, very long time. Enough of the rookie questions. All right, we're going to jump up here. Some advanced questions. Very important here. What is the sideline attire for Coach Shelton? Are you a polo guy with shorts? Are you a slacks? Do you wear a tie out there? What are we going to see?
No, I've always just been a khaki. And I'm going to be honest. People ask, do all the assistants match? And I'm going to be honest, and I hate to say that, I don't care because I'm so focused on the game. I said my wife and I were talking. I've got so many collared shirts right now, so we're going to go with a dry fit long sleeve so I don't get sunburnt. So. And khakis, something, with these, especially with the humidity. I don't dress up with a tie or anything like that. I never have.
So you're saying if Coach Golden comes in overalls and a straw hat, you're good with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
That's him. He's got to answer to that. I don't.
Okay, that's fair enough. Homecoming. There we got odds on that. That's a 7-point favorite too. Hey, I know for me, I'm very, very superstitious. When it comes to coaching, do you have any superstitions? Oh. He looked at his wife there. I see that.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah. Well, Eureka, one time I heard a superstition that I did not wash a hat for 6 years. And she goes, yeah, that thing was disgusting. We have a superstition that her and I don't know, one time we went and ate Mexican on a Thursday night, and we won the next game. And so for the next 10 years on Thursday night, we were eating Mexican. I've worn the same shoes I would have a pair of shoes that I would only wear during games because they were falling apart. I'd wear different practice shoes. I think it's something. It could be a breakfast. I know luck has nothing to do with it, but at least it makes me feel good.
That's awesome. Lyndon, do you serve Mexican on Thursday nights? We've got to get him some Mexican. Yeah. There we go. We got him a hat, too.
There you go. Thank you.
Hasn't had a clean hat in 6 years, so there we go. We got a fresh hat for him. Oh, I love it. Okay, I got to know this, too. And we can pick on Coach Poe because he's not here. And he knows that we love him. We love you, I promise. He's not here, though, so we can pick on him. A 40-yard dash between you and Coach Poe. Who wins that?
Well, Coach Poe is down right now, so he's sick. He's coming back tomorrow. So right now, I would say it would be me. On a normal day, I've got a bad hamstring, so I would go with Coach Poe. It would probably be the way I'd go.
Very humble coach. I like that. Yeah, he knows Coach Poe's back tomorrow is what it is. All right, Coach, you're driving down a back road. Let's say it's a Sunday. No worries. What is on Coach Shelton's radio? Are you a country guy, old rock guy, little pop, in sync? I mean, what are you listening to?
Found a great station here, 100.5 The Eagle, classic rock, and it's usually with AC/DC or, so that's kind of the relaxed music.
Coach Shelton is back in black. I love it. Guys, thank y'all so much tonight. Y'all did fantastic. Thank y'all for making the trip up here, too, and staying so late with us. We really do appreciate it. I know everybody's excited. Again, a big thank you. Lyndon Massey back there. The workers like Kristen Hudson, who's been trying to avoid this camera. There we go. Can we get her on camera real quick? Timothy Hufford. And, hey, real quick, just something real personal here, really quick. I'm going to get out of the way. Coach Treadway, I highly doubt he's like my dad, Old Man River. He probably don't turn on a phone to do this, to even watch this. But somebody send this to Coach Treadway. Thank you. Seriously, thank you for everything. You were the right man at the right time. And, man, from everybody here at Corning, we just want to say thank you. I think the whole idea was just to build the foundation, and you flipped the script. You changed the narrative, and we just were really, really thankful. So wherever you're out there, I highly doubt he has a computer. I highly doubt he has anything like that. Thank you so much, Coach Treadway. Hopefully he'll be tuning in at some point this year. I know Miss Treadway might do that. So are we good? Has anybody got any questions? Any of the fans back there? No? They came for the rally. That's right, the Corning Crunch Time cloths. Did I bring those? I may not have brought those. I may have to get those to you. I'm so sorry. They've been sitting back there for like an hour waiting for those. Guys, for everybody at Corning Sports Report, all the coaches here, and beautiful crime-free Corning Austin, Lyndon Massey here at Harold's Barbecue, we want to say good night. Thank you for tuning in with us. God bless you, and as always, go Cats.